Welcome to Movie Lounge, and I'm your host Stephen Walsung, and today we're going to talk about a really cool question that I love answer, and it's all based on my opinion, so if you don't like my answer, tough luck. But again, it's all based on my opinion, and today is a question from Hassanain Jefferson, and his question is, what do you think about films that are remakes or the original? So it's a very interesting question because there's a lot of remakes being made, and some of them are terrible, and some of them actually are surprisingly better than the original one. And some movies for instance, a movie that you should never remake is Footloose. Like, I didn't have any intention on seeing the movie, but some people just said it's downright terrible, and I could have told you it was terrible just based on the trailer. And for example, like Amazing Spider-Man, like, even though that's a remake, they waited I think like 3 years. Like 2007 was when the last one came out, and it's not the best Spider-Man, but as a whole, it's not that bad. It tells a story. There's a first act, second act, and third act. It just tells a story. It just so happens the third act just sucks really bad. With the Amazing Spider-Man, they try to make it for a younger audience, and you get like this Twilight depressing emo kid who just so happens to be Spider-Man. That's not how I remember it. I remember Spider-Man as the original kind of like Spider-Man. So it's just, yeah, I enjoy the original ones more. Now they're just trying, like, I feel like Sony's just trying to pull off the Marvel cinematic kind of world, where they're like, we're gonna make Amazing Spider-Man 2 and a whole bunch of other stuff like Sinister Six. Like, that'd be cool. But it's just like, no, you're just basing it all on just around Spider-Man. I think going like after 3 years on a whole movie that just came out and remaking it and revamping it is just a bad idea. Two movies that came out last year that I liked that were remakes of the 80s was Dredd, which actually I think Dredd was more of a 70s, late 70s, early 80s, but Dredd, when it came out last year, like, no one really went to go see it. I didn't even know about this until I saw it, like, at Best Buy. I was like, I'll rent that. I'm not going to buy it because I'm not quite sure. I rented it on Redbox, saw it, totally loved it. I was just blown away. I was like, this was a remake? Yeah, right. So I looked back, I totally forgot about what, Judge Dredd was what the original name was. I forgot what that was like. I watched it, and I enjoyed Dredd more than I loved Judge Dredd. Now, sometimes you won't get that, sometimes you will, of how the remake is actually better than the original one, and I went out and bought it, and I love the movie. And then I saw RoboCop. I love the franchise of RoboCop so much. Like, that's a childhood. It's like based, my childhood of just like sci-fi stuff. Like, RoboCop was one of those movies. When I saw the remake, and I have to say, Michael Keaton, Samuel L. Jackson are the only two that made that movie well watchable. Like, if they weren't in it, I have no idea how I could have gotten through that movie. But with them in it, and the visuals of it, it kind of made RoboCop kind of cool. And the whole, like, paying respect to the 80s, showing the old RoboCop in the picture was really cool. And, like, then you get like movies like Departed that were really cool, from the remake of the Japanese style film. That was really cool. And then you have like Dawn of the Planet of the Apes movie. I'm thinking Dawn of the Dead, which is another awesome remake. And with the Planet of the Apes, that one is more set with like visual effects. Like, if you have movies that were made in like the 60s, the 70s, or like even older, that you know that are way ahead of their time, the ape movies are perfect for making remakes because you have the technology to push that forward. Be like, here's what they were originally thinking, so here's what we can do with it. And I love that. Fantastic Four, I'm kind of up for seeing how they can remake it. They're having major problems, I heard they were wanting to start filming, and then just like director left, and like people were just leaving left and right. So I have no idea. If they can visually do that really cool, I'm down. yeah, like I saw Godzilla, loved the new version of Godzilla, thought that was really cool. And then like I saw Ninja Turtles. Okay, I know it's somewhat of a Michael Bay movie, and even though he produced it, and I'm not a big fan of his stuff, except I saw Bad Boys 2 the other day, loved it. I was like, why can't he do stuff like this anymore? Why does he have to go ruin childhood memories? So, like Ninja Turtles, like I had these super low expectations for that movie. Like there was no expectations at all, I don't think. And I was sitting there, I was like, I'm mildly entertained by this, and it's produced by Michael Bay. Something's wrong. So it's just kind of like a hit and miss. Like, is it going to be good or is it not? And how I say when you should make a remake is if it's from the 80s and older. Anything from the 80s and older, I have no problem with making a remake from the original one, because sometimes it could be a little bit better. If it's from the 90s or 3 years after the original one came out, don't make it. Like the 90s movies, even though they're a little bit older, they're still fresh. Like if they went out and made The Rock, redid The Rock, I'd be like, why? It's such a good movie. Like, you're not going to go see someone come up to Spielberg and be like, hey, we want to remake The Godfather, we want you to direct it. No way in his entire, like, it would probably make money, but he would just be like, no, I'm not remaking that movie. So there are some movies that you just don't want to remake. And the other cool thing about original movies is you already have them on DVD. So if you go see it and you don't like it, just watch the originals on DVD. You have it's not a problem on that. So that is my answer to the question. So if a remake happens and it's from an older, the original movie's from the 80s and down, I'm down for it. There's always potential to make it bigger, and then it can become possibly a franchise. You can make like a second one after the remake, or a third one, so on. It can help the movie. But yeah, like sometimes it can be a hit and miss. I'm always down for remakes. I have no problem with it, depending on how old the original one was. So yeah, so that is all for today on the whole show. And if you have any questions, you can ask them by email at themovielounge15@gmail.com, and I'll check out your questions and I'll answer them on the next show. Alright, you guys have a good day. Thanks. Bye.